Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, as you can see, I got the engine and trans pushed in, and lately I've been just kind of dry mocking everything up, and I've just kind of been messing around with seeing where the turbo is going to go and how that's going to work out, what kind of tubing I'm going to need, elbows, all that good stuff. So here's about where I'm at right now. I got the front fenders, the inner fenders, the radiator support in, just so I know kind of where I have room to work as far as turbos and all that good stuff. And unfortunately, I recently realized that my clearance for the tie rod it's already minimal, but when I was setting the engine in and trans in and getting the engine mount and transmission mount mocked in, welded up, I never thought to turn the wheels either way to make sure that the tie rod wouldn't hit. So didn't think about that. So unfortunately, that pan's not gonna work. So I got an F-body pan on the way. Gonna have to weld in some new bungs, but we'll get it going good. So, crawling underneath the truck, I'm going to show you. Not a lot of clearance right there, but I didn't think it'd have really an issue until you turn that way, I think. So a little hiccup, but nothing too big. I'm really hoping within the next maybe week or so, I'm actually going to start this thing up for the first time. We got the wiring and the fuel system to go over, and I'll probably be able to fire it for the first time. Let me show you the fuel system real quick. So while waiting for the oil pan, I checked one thing off the list. Got the fuel cell hung, all the brackets welded up, so that's all done. Now I'm starting to work on plumbing. So I got all the filters and the pump and everything. I ended up just welding the bracket on instead of bolting it on, so that'd be pretty solid there. I just got to finish plumbing it. Got this little section done, but so it really shouldn't take too long to get that all done. Then I can probably move on to wiring. So just a quick reminder, as of right now, we're still planning going to St. Ignace June 24th. I got a lot of work ahead of us as far as getting this thing going. That's kind of why I want to get it running, you know, within the week or so. And then after that, we're going to try and hit up 131, the drag strip, if you don't know, and make a couple test hits, do a couple runs, see how it does, and then probably be told to not come back till we got a cage, but it'll be fun either way. So, but if they tell us that, it means we're doing something right, and it's actually fast. So we'll see. So for my assembly wrench, I'm actually using just an Evil Energy wrench from, they sell them on Amazon. There's a lot more bigger brand names out there, but it's been working great for me. No marring or anything like that. But one of the things I really like about it is there's actually 4 places of contact on this particular wrench. And I feel like that's probably the best way, you know, if I'm just bench assembling stuff. But if you need a good quality, low priced wrench, I think it was $25 on Amazon, it won't disappoint. Then of course for the assembly block, I have an Earl's brand, name brand one. So while I'm here, I want to talk a little bit about these different brands of fittings I have here. So the first one being the brand everyone knows, Fragola. This is a Fragola fitting. They're really high quality fittings, they're nice, but check the finish out. Alright, and then I have some temporary Evil Energy fittings that I got from my PTFE lines, which eventually will be replaced with Fragola E85 lines, the rubber ones. And these are the Evil Energy ones. Finish wise, it's probably a little bit nicer. And then lastly, I have some Red Horse Performance fittings, which so far, to me, hands down, are the nicest finished and highest quality. So here's these. Just super nice. You can even see the reflections right there. Even the radius right here is just super smooth and nice. And the Fragola one, side by side. And the bends on them, the Fragola one seems to be a little bit more kinked per se. Yeah, the Red Horse isn't a 90, but the other 90s, which I don't know where the other 90 is right now. But just a super high quality finish on these Red Horse Performance ones. I will definitely be using Red Horse Performance fittings for my 79, whatever century I get to that project again. So price point on these fittings, I'll start off with Evil Energy, and for reference I'm gonna be naming off 90-degree prices. You can pick this up for about $15 on Amazon. For Red Horse Performance, you can pick up a 90 for about $23. For Fragola, you can pick up a 90 for about $26. So at the end of the day, when it comes to AN fittings, I think it just depends on how much you actually want to spend on fittings. They're all going to do the job just fine. If you want a little bit more peace of mind, spend a little bit more money. But currently, I'm 100% sold on Red Horse Performance brand. To me, they are just the highest quality fitting I've seen yet. And as far as performance, I have no doubts in how they'll perform. If you want a little bit more budget, the Evil Energy is, I mean, it's going to do the job. I haven't assembled any yet, so we'll see how that goes. I'll come back on that when I get to those PTFE lines and fittings. Alright guys, so I've been working on the fuel system a little bit, and the fuel system's all plumbed. The only thing that's not done is the fuel lines being set in place. Not really the point. I just wanted to get the fuel system ran and how I want, and then I'll do all that later. But check it out. So everything went together great, no problems. We'll know when I get the fuel pump started and start priming the system whether I have leaks or not. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But everything's just roughly ran right now. Go up to the front to the regulator and the fuel rail. All that turned out awesome. So right now I have an analog gauge in there, so when I get the fuel pump started and everything, I can set fuel pressure. And I think in the future, or maybe even right now, I don't know yet, I'm going to take this factory bypass out, and they make a plug that goes in there where you can thread an 1/8 inch MPT sensor in there for rail pressure. And I think I might do that, and I'll have double verification and real-time fuel pressure with that analog gauge right there as well. So I think that's what I'm going to do for that. As far as everything else goes, the intake is torqued down. I got the throttle cable wired in there. It actually turned out pretty good. Anyway, I got the throttle cable all ran. That turned out pretty good. Kind of had to run it a weird way, I think. But I didn't really ran it up and over the throttle body. I didn't really want it up and over and hanging around. So I ran it from throttle body, and it goes under, and then it shoots straight back. And all that's hooked up. Works great. And that is a Jigs brand throttle body universal LS cable, if anyone's wondering. So, being a LS swap in an old Ford, and there's no book on what works and what doesn't, so the valve covers that I had the bungs welded in for the breathers and stuff, and then powder coated, all nice and whatnot. They don't work with the turbo headers. But here they are, just sitting here. They won't work. So they were hitting the header right here, and they're also hitting the header on this side too as well. Didn't know that, so I had to end up putting the factory valve covers on there. I just cleaned them up, painted them black, and they look good to me. I have no complaints with that. So we're just going to keep moving forward as far as the valve covers go. So I did find an AN fitting that adapts into the grommet on the valve cover. So thanks to these companies making these weird fittings, because that's going to help out. So I'll only be able to use one breather hose, but that'll be alright. As far as the breather goes, I think I'm going to mount this bad boy right here. Maybe like this, or like that. I'm not sure yet, but that'll look good right there. So a couple setbacks here and there, but that comes with the territory of LS swapping something. So really, can you be mad about things like the oil pan? Maybe a little, but you gotta just keep pushing forward, making it work. So we're getting there. Got the wiring harness all ran in there. Everything's plugged in. I need to get another grommet for that and the transmission harness. I got a little surprise for the wiring harness as far as going through the firewall. So save that for when it's done. I'll show you that. So as far as an update on the Evil Fab fittings that I was showing you, no complaints. They went together good. The only fittings I got were PTFE fittings. So I'd recommend those if you're in a real budget build or whatever. 8 out of 10 would recommend. Maybe 7, I don't know. They're nice. Hands down, I think the Red Horse Performance are the nicest fittings I have on this whole truck. That's even Fragola and Aeromotive and whatever. They're just real nice finish, just high quality. So now that the fuel plumbing is done, I've been working on some wiring. I had a heck of a time trying to figure out where I was going to mount the ECU. I wanted to mount it in the glove box area, but I kind of decided against that. And I'm just going to mount it everything under the seat right now. So none of this is permanent per se, because eventually when I put a cage in here and 2 bucket seats, I'm probably going to put a center console type deal where I'm going to set up all my electronics and my wiring, and that'll be the central location for all these relays and fuses and the terminator system. I got the bus bars right here. Those are probably going there eventually too. But for now, I just have the main wiring harness going up right above the transmission cover, same as the transmission harness, and I'm just going to go through the firewall. So what my plan is for that, I have the main power harness ran through the floor. There was already a grommet there, so I utilized that. These are going to be my main power connections to power the fans, the fuel pump, and then I have individual terminals on the battery, which I'm going to be using for my Holley. So for power connections, Holley recommends individual terminals for powering the ECU. So that's what I did. I bought a battery with top and side terminals, and I'm going to be fully utilizing that, so I don't have any issues. And they say to do that for having a clean source of power so it doesn't damage the ECU. So right now it is currently June 3rd, and I wanted to have the truck at least started by June 1st, but with all the setbacks, even the coil packs, they're not going to work in the factory location, so I had to order some coil brackets and harness extensions, and those are still on order. They're still on the way. So as soon as I get those, be setting those up, and then I just got a few more things. I got the valve body to do as well, but I should have it started within hopefully a week or so. But the clock's really ticking as far as St. Ignace, and I really plan on having it done. Not done, but at least running and driving. I don't even know if I'll have a bed on this thing when I go up there, but who really cares? So definitely by the next video, and that's probably what the next video will be, is I'll be starting it. With or without the turbos on it. Most likely without. But that's alright, because that'd be cool too. So as you could probably do the math, I only got about 3 weeks and a few days until St. Ignace. And currently, I still don't have my axle tube or any of my links from powder coating back. And I really need those because I need to measure the drive shaft, which also needs to be ordered and hopefully shipped to me in a timely manner. So I'm not too thrilled about that, waiting on those things, because it's beginning to be a real time crunch right now. But I'm getting as much done as I can with what I got, and hopefully I'll be able to throw those things in last minute. So with that being said, hopefully the next video will be a little bit more exciting. I think it will be. Being able to start the truck for the first time, it's gonna be crazy. And as far as AN fittings go, hopefully with those 3 brands, I mean, there's a ton of AN brands out there. They're all good. They're all going to do the job. It just depends on how much you want to spend and whatnot. But maybe those 3 brands will help get you on the road. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope it helped you out. And we will see you next time, hopefully starting this thing up. See ya.